Tom Nguyen made two mistakes the day he bought the Ouija board. The first was not asking why it cost only 25 cents. The second was bringing it back to Warren Hall. By Saturday night, Maya Lopez would walk barefoot across the frost-covered quad at 2:17 a.m. and never be seen again. Never. The board came from Salvation Thrift on Madison Street, wedged between a broken lamp and water-damaged paperbacks. Parker Brothers, 1970s edition, cardboard worn soft at the corners. The planchette was still inside, yellowed plastic with a circular window. Tom had been looking for a vintage typewriter when he saw it. 25 cents. The price tag left sticky residue when he peeled it off. The thrift store owner didn't mention that board had been donated 3 times in 8 years. Each time by a different family. Each time with a note saying, "Please dispose of this. Do not resell." Marcus, who ran the store, didn't believe in that kind of thing. He'd stopped reading donation notes after the first 1,000 items. Tom showed it to his friends Wednesday at the Warren Hall Common Room. The dorm was old, built in 1952, all institutional brick and narrow hallways that smelled like radiator heat and decades of floor wax. Ryan Carter laughed, said his grandmother had one just like it. Ella Green touched the planchette nervously, said her aunt told her those things were doorways. Maya Lopez, practical Maya who fact-checked everything, said it was just a mass-produced toy that preyed on the ideomotor effect. Your subconscious moves your hands without realizing it, she explained. They agreed to try it Saturday night. Tom's roommate would be gone. Just for fun, they said. Maya rolled her eyes but agreed because she was writing an article for the campus paper about modern superstitions. Room 214 sat at the end of the second-floor hallway, last door before the emergency exit. The room had a quirk. One window that never closed right, warped from decades of Midwestern winters. It would drift open on its own, letting in cold air. Tom had learned to wedge a chemistry textbook against it. Saturday came. They gathered around 9 p.m. after the weekend quiet had settled over campus. Warren Hall felt empty in that specific way. Old buildings feel empty, like the walls were holding their breath. Tom cleared his desk for the board. Ryan brought beer. Ella brought dollar store candles and insisted they set the mood. Maya brought her recorder and notebook, documenting everything. They started casually, fingertips barely touching the planchette, Ryan joking about summoning Abraham Lincoln. Nothing happened at first. The planchette sat still. Then Ryan asked if anyone was there. The planchette moved, just slightly, a small drift. They accused each other of pushing it. Maya said it was textbook ideomotor response, but she didn't move her fingers away. They asked who was there. The planchette began moving with purpose, sliding deliberately. T-A-K-E. It stopped at E and sat there, trembling. Take. That was the word. Ryan laughed. Ella wanted to know what it meant. Maya suggested they were unconsciously spelling common words, but Tom noticed the planchette felt warm now, not from their fingers, from underneath, like something was heating it from the inside. He didn't mention it. Are you a spirit? The planchette moved to yes. How did you die? It drifted toward the alphabet but stopped, circled back, like whatever was moving it couldn't answer. Ella said maybe they should stop. Ryan kept asking questions. Maya kept documenting, her handwriting getting messier. After 20 minutes, they called it. Took photos, laughed about how creepy it was. Tom packed the board in his closet behind winter coats. They finished the beer, talked about other things, separated around midnight. Maya walked back to Crawford Hall, the women's dorm 2 buildings over. Her roommate Jessica was asleep. Maya set her alarm for 8 a.m. and was asleep by 12:45. She woke at 3:20 a.m. to tapping, gentle, rhythmic, like fingernails on wood, coming from her desk. Tap, 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 pause, tap, tap, tap. She sat up, squinted across the room. The desk was empty. The tapping stopped the moment she moved. Radiator, she told herself. Old building sounds. She didn't sleep well the rest of the night. Sunday was normal at first. Library shift, lunch, homework. But small things felt off. Her favorite pen, always in her backpack's front pocket, wasn't there. She found it standing upright in a water glass on her desk. Her phone charger appeared neatly coiled on her pillow. Socks she'd worn Friday folded on her closed laptop. Jessica teased her about getting old at 19, forgetting where she put things. Maya laughed but felt uneasy. That night, studying late, she kept feeling someone standing just behind her, close enough she should feel their breath. Every time she turned around, empty room. Jessica was at her boyfriend's place. Maya was alone. She texted Tom around 11, asked if he'd felt weird since the Ouija session. Tom replied immediately, yes. Hearing footsteps when his roommate wasn't there, things falling off shelves. That warm feeling from the planchette hadn't gone away. His fingertips still felt hot. They talked for an hour, trying to rationalize it. Stress, midterms coming. They'd psyched themselves out. But Tom admitted something that made Maya's skin prickle. After everyone left Saturday night, after he'd put the board away, he went to brush his teeth. When he came back, the board was out of his closet, sitting on his desk exactly where they'd used it. He knew he'd put it away, but there it was. Maya suggested they try again. If it was subconscious movement, another session would prove it was random. If something else was happening, they'd know. Tuesday night, Tom said. Monday dragged. Maya felt watched constantly. In her journalism seminar, she kept seeing someone standing in the hallway outside, a dark shape that moved away when she looked directly. Her professor asked if she was feeling all right. She looked pale, he said. That night, Maya woke at exactly 3:20 a.m. The tapping was back, louder, more insistent, coming from the window. She forced herself to look. Condensation on the inside of the glass, which didn't make sense because the heat was on. The condensation had formed a pattern. Letters backwards because they were formed from outside. She could barely read them in the dark. But as her eyes adjusted, take her. Maya didn't sleep. She sat with her back against the wall, lights on, staring at the window. By dawn, the condensation had evaporated. No trace. She didn't tell Jessica. Tuesday evening came too fast. Maya almost backed out, but Tom said Ella and Ryan were already on their way. Close the loop, he said. Prove it was nothing. Room 214 felt different. The air was heavier. That window Tom wedged shut was open, textbook on the floor, cold November air pouring in. Tom was certain he'd secured it. Ryan arrived nervous, said he'd been having dreams about the board. Ella looked like she'd been crying, admitted she'd been hearing whispers, a woman's voice. They set up. No jokes this time. Ella lit candles with shaking hands. Maya positioned her phone to record. They placed their fingers on the planchette and immediately felt it. That warmth, that sense of something waiting. Ryan asked if anyone was there. The planchette jerked violently, nearly flew off the board. It dragged across with force, hitting letters hard. DONTTAKEHER, don't take her. Maya felt sick. Her vision blurred. The room was too cold, breath coming out in small clouds. She asked who they were talking about. The planchette circled frantically, agitated. It spelled M over and over. Ella was crying, said they needed to stop. But the planchette kept moving, spelling faster. R-U-N over and over. R-U-N-R-U-N-R-U-N. Maya pulled her hands away. The planchette kept moving without her, dragging the other's fingers. She stood so fast her chair fell over. The cold was impossible now, frost forming on Tom's laptop screen. Tom yanked his hands away. The planchette stopped, but they could see it vibrating, rattling like something was trying to move it without them. Ryan said Maya's name like a question, but Maya was staring at the window, at the reflection. 5 reflections. The 4 of them and something else, someone else, standing directly behind Maya's chair. A woman's shape, pale and thin and still. Maya turned around. Nothing. She looked back at the window. The 5th reflection was gone. She had to leave, said it in a distant voice. Tom tried to stop her, but Maya was already at the door, the sick feeling getting worse with every second. She made it halfway down the hallway before she had to stop, leaning against the wall. The fluorescent lights buzzed, one flickering irregularly. She could hear Tom calling, but his voice sounded muffled, like he was speaking through water. Maya walked back to Crawford Hall on autopilot. Jessica was there, sitting on her bed, watching something on her laptop. She asked Maya if she was okay, said she looked like she'd seen a ghost, then immediately apologized for the poor choice of words. Maya said she was fine, just tired, maybe coming down with something. She went to bed at 9:30, lay in the dark listening to Jessica's keyboard, normal sounds that felt impossibly distant. She fell asleep thinking about that 5th reflection, wondering why the board said don't take her, what the M meant, why she couldn't shake the feeling something had followed her from room 214. She woke at 2:17 a.m. She knew the exact time because her phone was clutched in her hand. Alarm app open, flashing 2:17. She didn't remember picking up her phone, didn't remember setting an alarm. But here she was, awake, and the alarm was ringing softly, and she had the strangest feeling she needed to be somewhere. Jessica was asleep. Maya stood up. Her feet were bare, still in sleep clothes, t-shirt and shorts, completely inappropriate for late November. The room was dark except for her phone's glow. She walked to the door. Some part of her brain screamed this was wrong, that she should stop, wake Jessica, do anything except what she was doing. But her body moved without permission, hand on doorknob, door opening silently. The hallway was empty. Emergency exit lights cast red shadows. Maya walked toward the stairwell, bare feet silent on cold tile. She passed the RA's room, door closed, no light. Down the stairs, one floor, another, until ground level. The security camera at Crawford Hall's main entrance recorded Maya walking through at 2:17 a.m. Phone in hand, no shoes, no jacket, walking with purpose. Outside, the night was freezing. Frost covered the quad grass, crunched under her bare feet. Maya walked across empty campus, past the library, past the student union, toward Warren Hall. The camera at Warren Hall's side entrance caught her at 2:23 a.m. She used her student ID to unlock the door, stepped inside, walked upstairs. The hallway camera showed her walking purposefully toward room 214, where Tom was asleep, where the Ouija board still sat on his desk. But Maya never knocked. The cameras showed her walking past, to the emergency exit door at the hallway's end. She pushed through to the stairwell that led to the 3rd floor, closed for renovation for 3 years, locked and empty. The door should have been locked. Tom would later tell police it was always locked. But on camera, Maya opened it easily and walked through. That was the last time anyone saw her. Jessica woke at 6:30 a.m. to Maya's alarm still ringing. She reached over to shut it off and realized Maya's bed was empty. Shoes by the door, jacket on the chair, wallet and keys on the desk. Jessica called Maya's phone and heard it ringing on Maya's nightstand. Campus security was called at 7:15 a.m. They checked cameras, tracked Maya to Warren Hall. They went to the third floor, unlocked the renovation area, searched every room. Empty. Construction equipment, plastic sheeting, exposed walls. No Maya. Police came by 9 a.m., search parties organized. Tom, Ryan, and Ella were interviewed separately. They told the same story about the Ouija board, the sessions, Maya leaving upset. The police looked at them like they were insane. Tom showed them the board, still on his desk in room 214. Police bagged it as evidence. When the officer picked it up, he made a strange face, said the thing felt warm, almost hot. His partner said it felt room temperature to him. They searched the river, the woods beyond campus, interviewed every student in Warren Hall, Crawford Hall, every professor Maya had. Nothing. No leads, no sightings, no body, no signs of foul play. Maya Lopez had walked into Warren Hall at 2:23 a.m. and vanished. The campus newspaper ran the story. Local news picked it up. Maya's parents came from Texas, stayed 2 weeks while the search continued, went home with empty hands and shattered faces. The story faded. By Christmas break, most students had forgotten, pushed it to the back of their minds the way people do with uncomfortable mysteries, except Tom. He'd given the board to police, but they returned it after 3 weeks. Tom didn't want it. He tried throwing it away, put it in the dumpster. Next morning, it was on his desk again. He tried donating it to Salvation Thrift. Marcus refused, said he remembered that board, that it always came back. Finally, Tom did the only thing he could think of. He took the board to Warren Hall's basement storage area, found a locked supply closet nobody used, put the board inside, locked it, gave the key to the RA with instructions to never open that closet. Spring semester started. Room 214 sat empty. Housing said it was because of HVAC work, which was technically true, but also 7 students had requested room changes after being assigned to 214, all complaining about bad dreams, cold spots, feeling watched. In March, during spring break, when dorms were nearly empty, maintenance workers went to the storage area for furniture. They found the locked supply closet. The lock was still engaged, but when they opened it, the board was gone. Someone had scratched something into the closet door. Fresh marks in old wood, M.L. Maya's initials. Campus security investigated. Between February 10th and March 2nd, when no one should have been in that storage area, cameras showed the storage door opening and closing 17 times. Every time at 2:17 a.m. Opening from the inside like someone was leaving, not entering. But cameras never showed anyone. Just the door, moving on its own, opening into darkness. The investigation went nowhere. Too weird, too much like a ghost story. Campus rumors grew. Students avoided Warren Hall after dark. The Ouija curse, they called it. The story got exaggerated, twisted. Some said Maya had been possessed. Some said she'd run away. Some said Tom and Ryan and Ella knew more than they were saying. But here's what nobody knew except the maintenance supervisor who never reported it. When refurbishing room 214 that summer, installing new windows, fixing that warped frame, he found something behind the baseboard near the window. A small bundle wrapped in cloth shoved into the wall, probably decades ago. Inside was a Ouija board planchette, older than Tom's, made of wood instead of plastic, and carved into the wood in tiny letters, Maria Lopez. Maria, Maya's grandmother, who had attended Coldwater University in 1963, who had lived in Warren Hall, who had, according to family stories Maya never really believed, dropped out suddenly halfway through sophomore year and never spoken about her time at college. The maintenance supervisor held that planchette and felt warmth spreading through his palm, felt something like recognition, like whatever was carved into that wood was waking up after a long sleep. He put it back in the wall, sealed it up, never told anyone. Some things should stay buried. Warren Hall is still standing. Room 214 is technically available, but the housing system never assigns students to it during automated lottery. Someone has to manually override, and no one ever does. The room sits empty semester after semester, accumulating dust, that window still drifting open on its own. Students sometimes walk past late at night and swear they see candlelight under the door. Swear they hear voices, 4 voices, laughing nervously like they're playing a game. Swear they hear a 5th voice, quieter, saying, "Please, please stop, I want to go home." The basement storage closet stays locked. The key was lost years ago, or thrown away, or maybe hidden somewhere deliberate. But every semester during reading period before finals, when stress is high and students are awake at strange hours, someone calls campus security about the storage area door, says it's opening and closing on its own, says they hear footsteps coming from the basement, says they saw a girl in a t-shirt and shorts, barefoot, walking the halls at 2:17 a.m., looking for something she lost. Security checks every time, finds nothing. Writes it up as stress-induced hallucination, academic pressure, kids scaring themselves. But they never write about what they all notice. The temperature in that basement is always wrong, always too cold, like winter air seeping in from somewhere. And there's a smell, very faint, that comes and goes, something sweet and rotten, like vegetation decomposing, like something that's been waiting a very long time to be found. New students at Coldwater University don't know about Maya Lopez. They don't know about the Ouija sessions or the locked storage room or the grandmother who attended this school 50 years ago and left without explanation. They walk past room 214 and don't notice it's empty. They complain about the cold in Warren Hall basement, but never question why that one closet has a lock that looks brand new, even though the building is 70 years old. But sometimes, when campus is quiet and night is deep and it's exactly 2:17 a.m., that lock clicks open, just for a moment, just long enough for something to slip through, walking the halls with purpose, looking for someone who promised they would play, who touched the planchette and opened the door, who said, "Take," without understanding what was being offered or asked. The Ouija board is gone. Tom never found it after that last time. It's not in Warren Hall, not in campus security's evidence locker, not in the thrift store, but wherever it is, the planchette is moving, sliding across letters, spelling out names, making promises to anyone who asks the right questions. And sometimes, late at night, when students are playing with things they don't understand, when fingers touch plastic and questions are whispered into darkness, the planchette moves on its own. It spells out a message that makes no sense until it's too late. Don't take her. But by then, someone always does. Thank you for walking with us through the cold halls of Warren. If the silence of the night feels a little heavier now, you know what to do. And please, remember to lock your door before you try to sleep. We'll be waiting for you next week in a new episode at 3 a.m.